Hello, hello, hello. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. My name is Misako Envela, and thank you so much for pressing play on today's video. I felt that introduction was super important for this video because I am not the same woman I was last week before my ceremony. The woman who was filled with self-doubt, who was unsure, who was self-critical, lacked like a deep sense of self-love, who didn't fully understand her self-worth and her power. I am not that woman anymore. I have finally stepped into my power, and let me tell you, I am so happy to have finally arrived. I wrote some notes down for this video, but I have a feeling it's going to be more of a stream of consciousness type flow. But I wanted to have these things written down because I wanted to make sure to include these main points. When I first recorded the video last week, I was sure I was going to come back and tell you guys every single detail of my experience. I even recorded my reflections after the first day, and then I went into my second ceremony because we did it Friday and Saturday. And it was such a sacred experience and so deeply personal that I don't know. I think this is the first time I felt this way with the internet because I'm typically so open and so vulnerable. I don't really have boundaries online. But this is something that I think I want to keep for myself. And I'm going to give you some information and some details, but I think this is something that I want to just hold on to. And the shaman also told me that, telling everyone can sort of unravel the medicine, and I'm still experiencing things. And I just don't want to lose that. And so I hope that you all understand, but I am going to tell you what I learned from this experience and more. I want to preface all of this by saying I do not think that I could have had the experience I had if I worked with any other group. I worked with the Black Condor tribe. My shaman's name was Adorable, and she spent years working with this medicine and she just kept having experiences where she would go to ceremonies and be the only person of color, the only Black woman in the room. And so it became her mission to create safe spaces for Black people. This is the first ceremony that she opened up to POC, but typically she only works with Black people. And it's been her mission to help us connect with the medicine, to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to feel like these spaces are meant for us too, because they are. And the way she crafted the ceremony, the music, the way that we were involved in every step of the process, I don't think that I could have had the powerful, transformative experience that I had if it were not for her. And I just want to say, I'm so deeply grateful to her and her team. She changed my life. She changed my life in the best way possible. The second thing I want to say is I think there's a lot of content online about this medicine being abrasive and scary. And I think that has to do with a couple of things. Personally, I think there are a lot of people who are using and abusing this medicine, just taking more than what they need. And I think that can impact your experience. And I also think we're typically just getting a perspective from one type of person. And someone in the ceremony said it perfectly. She was like, I felt like coming in, I needed this really abrasive, aggressive transformation. And it was just the most gentle, healing medicine. And that's exactly how I would describe it. Mama Ayahuasca is feminine. She's the grandmother. And it was powerful, but it was also gentle. I never felt afraid. I never felt scared. I never felt out of control. There was no fear involved in me. There were moments where it was powerful, where I was like, I cannot believe that this is happening. But I never felt afraid, and I even was emotional at the end of the ceremony because I never wanted it to end. that's how deeply beautiful and powerful it was for me, that I never wanted it to end. And I was speaking to an elder that was there. It was also just like such a well-balanced group of elders and people my age and people older than me and masculine and feminine, non-binary energy, and just such a well-balanced group. And I was speaking to the elder man. We were sitting down after the second ceremony having soup, and I was kind of like tearing up, like I never want this to end. I never want to lose this connection. And he's like, it's only just beginning. And the shaman told me that as well, and she's absolutely right. I feel like, in a way, like my life is just now really starting. As far as like the things that I learned from this experience, the first thing that I want to say is our earth and the things that she provides, the healing powers of the plant medicines and things that the earth provides are powerful in ways that I don't think we will ever fully comprehend. And I understand why the powers at be make these things, they don't want to make these things accessible. They don't want to make them legal because, I mean, I think the current system would collapse if people were healed by these things. Like, there would be no need for the overconsumption and like the hyper consumerism. A lot of people would be healed of things that like the medical system needs them to be sick of to keep going. It's just, I could go on and on about that, but that really opened up my eyes to like what Mother Earth, like how powerful she is. And yeah, I'm just like, whoa. Of course they would try to keep us from these healing things. I feel like I experienced a lifetime of therapy and healing in a weekend. Like, when I tell you the things that I have been working on for years, I just like, I've worked through them. It sounds too good to be true, but it's absolutely the truth. And I'm sure things will pop up every now and then, but I'm just like I said, I'm not the same person that I was before. I just am not. The second thing that I learned, which is probably like the core lesson of my entire experience, is that there is a reason we feel called to do the things we feel called to do, the arts, the passions. Like, there is a reason that we have this like indescribable feeling of feeling called to these things. I learned the true meaning of being a vessel for the people that came before me, for my ancestors, through this experience. I realized the reason I feel called to dance. Dance was a huge part of my life, my childhood, that I just sort of disregarded because I felt like I didn't have the technical training or the classical talent to keep going. I let the traditional dance structures keep me from. No one told me that I couldn't dance, but I just felt like, well, I wouldn't be able to keep up in the classroom, so I shouldn't be dancing at all. And I will never, ever, ever allow myself or anyone else to take that gift away from me, or any of these gifts, because there's a reason that I'm meant to do them. I'm meant to carry them on for the people who did not get the opportunity to. And I just want to say, like, you should not ignore these feelings. You should not let these passions pass away with you, because it's so much bigger than you. And I've said things like this before, and I've read things like that and heard other people say that. But I understand the meaning of that now, and I'll never take my gifts for granted. I'll never doubt myself. I've been in the dance studio, dancing in my house ever since, because I understand that that is something that I am supposed to continue doing. And same with filmmaking, same with being on YouTube. I think this is a reason that I've kind of been struggling in the like digital space, like struggling to kind of turn this into a career, because this doesn't feel like a career to me. This is bigger than that. Yeah, like the way that I feel about speaking with all of you and sharing what I've learned and creating videos and creating art, like, it doesn't feel like a business, and of course, we all want to make, some type of living to survive, but I think that's why I've like never been focused on growth, and I've never been focused on analytics, and it feels so like foreign to me to even care about those things, because I'm not meant to care about those things. I'm doing this purely because like it's like a calling of mine. And so that was like a huge lesson, and I just have this like deep confidence in the things that I do now that I didn't have before, because I know that like I said, that it's just bigger than me, and that these things are not for nothing. Like there's not the reason that I'm called to do these things is not for nothing. So like even the way that I'm dancing now, I just have never danced that way in my life, with such pride, and like I'm connected to my passions in a way that I never have been before. Going into this experience, my intention was to heal the parts of myself that feel like I'm not worthy of love, that I'm not worthy of love in the face of rejection, that my value's dependent on how someone else feels about me, and I will never feel that way again. It's just not in me anymore. Now I know, of course, I'm loved. I'm so loved that my ancestors gave me these gifts, that they've protected me, and I just would never allow myself to be disrespected in the way that I have been, that I have allowed myself to be disrespected. It just is. I had an experience during the ceremony where I thought about the love that I had chased that wasn't love, that wasn't good for me, and I felt like I was going to purge again. I just had a visceral reaction. I was so disgusted at the thought of it, at the thought of putting myself through that again, and I never thought that I would feel that way. And now I'm just like, oh yeah, I would never put myself in harm's way like that again. I would never even consider chasing something that was not good for me. And that is a powerful feeling. I wish I could bottle it up and gift it to all of the people in my life. So that was like, I healed the exact thing I went into the ceremony wanting to heal, and more. Like I did want to gain a deeper understanding of like my connection to my art, and like I guess an understanding of what my purpose is, and I do now. And my experience was like more in my body. Other people had more visual experiences, it was in their mind, but I felt mine in my body. But I had moments where I would ask for clarity, and asking my ancestors, okay, like what does this mean? And they were like, just keep going. And I am. Those were my main takeaways from my experience with ayahuasca. I also want to say, like, I know I mentioned this already, but this was not a scary experience. And I don't think that anyone in the ceremony, there were 16 of us total, that's what the number actually came down to. I don't think anyone would have described what we went through as scary. Powerful was a word that went around, but scary was not. And I think it's important for me to come back and share that message with you, because there is a lot of content online that describes this medicine as scary. It was not scary, and I say that because if you ever feel called to this medicine, I would highly, highly suggest you answer this call. If my testimony and experience is not like proof enough of like how big of a transformation that can happen when you trust and sort of surrender to this medicine, I don't know like what else will be, but I'm telling you, it was not scary. And the purging part, because a lot of people ask about that, vomiting. There are some people that purge. On my first night, I actually only purged tears. I only cried. And then I purged the second night, but it was very quick, and it was like something that you wanted to get out, So it wasn't like I felt nauseous the whole time. It was like, oh, I feel this, like this needs to get out of my system, got out, and it was done. So I think that there's a lot of focus on that part, and it was just like, that was probably like 2% of the entire experience. So I felt it was important to share that too. And yeah, I'm just so deeply grateful for my experience. I'm so deeply grateful to the Black Condor tribe, to Adorable, to my friend Jade, who introduced me to them, and who was, who told me that she was thinking of doing this. The shaman told me I was the first person to sign up. Like I got the call, like I answered, and that's another thing that I've heard with this medicine. Like it calls you when you're ready. And another thing the shaman told me, which was really special, because I told you guys my experience was more in my body, so it was a lot of dance. My ancestors dancing through me, and the shaman told me after, she's like, I have the gift that you have. That's how I'm able to do the work that I do, because they can use me as a vessel. And it was just like such a special moment to share with her, and also very validating to hear as an artist, because that's how I feel. That's how I felt. Like these things that I'm passionate about, it feels so much bigger than me. And I just received confirmation this weekend. They feel bigger than me because they are bigger than me. And I'm just so deeply grateful, and so deeply grateful to Mama Ayahuasca for like opening that sort of doorway for me. Yeah, so feel free to leave any questions you have in the comments below. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for showing up for me. Thank you so much for being patient with me. And as always, thank you for being here.